In this video, I'll be sharing with you a requested tutorial from my group on how to cut this asymmetric hemline bustier pattern. So if this is something you like, kindly hit on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up. So let's dive right into today's video. So to start, here is my pattern paper and I've gone ahead to mark out my basic measurements, which includes my shoulder to bust, under bust, waist, and blouse length. So for the blouse length first, I went ahead to add 5 inches after my waistline. So the next step I'll take is to mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2. And I'll come down by 1 inch from that point because our shoulder is not straight. This is to draw our shoulder slant. Now I'm going to find my chest line, which is my bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. It gave me 7 inches and I made a dot and drew out a straight line at that point. Now I'll connect to my shoulder and I'll go ahead to divide what I have here into 2 and come out by half. Now I'm going to mark my bust circumference divided by 4. After I'm done marking that, I'm going to go ahead to connect from here all the way to the under bust. And after connecting, I'll connect all the way to the upper part of my pattern. Now, I'll go ahead to use my marker to outline this to make it more visible for you to see. Now, the next step I'm going to take is to go ahead to mark my darts. And to mark my darts, I'll start by marking my nipple to nipple divided by 2. My nipple to nipple is 7 inches divided by 2. I have 5 inches. And I'm going to go ahead to use this to mark this out. And I'll mark it all the way to the end of my pattern and connect. Now, I'm going to mark out this basic neckline of 3 inches. So from that point, I'll divide what I have on the remaining part of my shoulder into 2 and I'll connect from my bust to my shoulder. Now I'll be marking my dart intake. So for the dart intake, I'm going to go ahead to use 1 inch on both sides. Now if you're plus size, you'll be using 1.5 inches on both sides of your pattern. After I'm done marking this, I'm going to go ahead to connect this and also go ahead to connect at the other side. Now, after I'm done connecting, I'm going to place from the upper part, come down a bit and connect to the under bust. I'll also repeat this at this side. And after this, I'll place my tape and determine where I want it to stop. So let's say if I use 6 inches from my shoulder point, or you can come down by 1.5, just go ahead and measure what is okay for you. Now place your ruler and you draw out a straight line. So after I'm done marking that, the next step I'll take is to mark 1 inch on both sides of my dart to tighten my over bust. Now also repeat this at the upper part of your pattern. So if you're busty or you're on the plus size, please go ahead to use 1.5 inches. And after this, I'll go ahead to connect all the way from that point to the under bust and from the under bust I'll connect down to the lower part of my pattern. I'm going to insert my body measurements. Now at the bust, my bust is 33 divided by 4. I'll mark 8.3 inches. After marking that, I'll go ahead to replace my dart intake from this point all the way to that point. After I'm done marking, I'll go ahead to also add my sewing allowance. So you can also use this that you have on the chest line if you don't want to have much excess on the side. So I also added my sewing allowance. Here I'll mark my under bust circumference divided by 4, which is 28 inches divided by 4. I have 7. Measure the dart intake, replace and add my sewing allowance. Here I'm going to mark my waist circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake, replace, and I'll add my sewing allowance. Now I'm going to mark my hip measurement at the blouse length divided by 4, measure the dart intake, replace, and add my sewing allowance. So for the waistline, you can decide to snatch your waist or you just use your actual waistline. To snatch your waist, you can deduct like any amount you want to take out from your waist. Let's say your waist is 28 and you want to snatch it, you can take out 2 inches from it and now go ahead to divide the remaining measurements you have. So after this, I'll go ahead to come up by 1.5 inches here. So at first, I forgot that the hemline of the dress extended to the lower part. But after marking out this, we'll also go ahead to correct that. Now I'm going to mark my bust dart, and to get your bust dart is the difference between your shoulder to waist in front and your shoulder to waist at the back. My shoulder to waist in front is 17, my shoulder to waist at the back is 15 and a half, giving me a difference of 1.5, because if you take out 15 from 17 inches, you have 1.5 inches, which I marked and connected. Now I'll just come down a bit and connect, because the neckline is not so deep, and I'll connect this all the way to the side of my pattern, and I'll outline the rest of my pattern. So just like I said, I corrected this part. I forgot initially that the lower part has an asymmetric hemline. So from here I'll connect all the way up, blended my dart, and from here I went up by 1.5 inches, and at the lower part you also come down by 1 inch or 1.5 inches. After this, I'll just go ahead to connect the lower part. So this is what I have for the front part, and I'm just going to cut out this part so that you might not get confused of how the lower part of the dress looks like. So after I'm done cutting this, we'll be moving over to the front pattern. So go ahead to blend your dart when you're cutting this out, and I'll go ahead to cut out the rest of my pattern. So if you look at the dress, you notice that there's like a bead pattern this way. So obviously I don't know if it has like an underbust cut or the bead pattern was used on it. So if it has an underbust cut, probably it will be like this, but if not, it is more like a bustier that they used the bead to like create that pattern on it. So this is what I have for the front pattern, and we'll be cutting the back pattern. Now for the back pattern, I've gone ahead to mark out all the necessary measurements, which includes the shoulder to bust, shoulder to under bust. The shoulder to under bust for the back is 15, shoulder to waist for the back is 15 and a half, which I added extra 5 inches to it for the blouse length. Now I'll start by marking my nipple to nipple divided by 2. So after this, I'll place my ruler and draw out a straight line connecting all the lines. Now I'll mark a basic dart a take of ½ inch. Now extend it all the way up. After that, I'll take it down and also connect it to the other side. So I'll start inserting my measurements. At the bust, I'll mark my bust circumference divided by 4 and add my sewing allowance. Here, I'll mark my waist circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake, replace, and add my sewing allowance. I'll mark my hip circumference divided by 4 and add my sewing allowance. So after marking this, I'll just go ahead to connect my pattern, starting from the waist to the bust and down to the hip of this pattern. So after I'm done doing that, I'm just going to go ahead to come in by 2 inches for the lacing area, and I'm going to connect. After I'm done connecting, I will draw out a straight line. Now this is what I have, and I'm going to go ahead to make a mark to indicate I have a lacing at that point. After I'm done doing that, I'm just going to come down by ½ inch and connect this up, and I'm going to also draw out an asymmetric hemline at the back pattern, or you can just leave it as your basic back pattern. So this is what I have after I'm done marking, and I'll go ahead to cut out my pattern. So for the sleeve of the dress, it was just cut out and attached. So after cutting your pattern, you can just go ahead to cut out like a simple or a strap, then attach it to the dress. So at this point, if you haven't yet subscribed, please kindly hit on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, leave your comments at the comment section. If you have any question, please go ahead to ask. Now I'm just going to go ahead to cut this out and the other side. So this is what I have for the back pattern of this dress.